Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Denise, and on this channel I talk all about minimalism and intentional living. So as we get to the end of 2024, which is so crazy to think about, I have really been thinking more about what my goals are for the next year in 2025. And I have officially decided that I want to do a low buy year. I was considering doing a no buy year, but the more I thought about it, realistically, I just don't think it's gonna work for me. However, I think I really am up for a low buy year for next year. So I officially decided that I am going to do my best to try to do a whole year of very limited spending. So obviously it's one thing to say that you're going to do a low buy year and then actually do it, right? So I figured just because I feel like I'm the type of person that says they're going to do something, and then a lot of the times I don't end up following through with it just because my brain is just like, I don't know. I feel like I change my mind pretty often, and it's just like depending on my mood and just like really the type of day. So I decided that I was just going to plan it out, make some rules for myself, and really just think about why I want to do a low buy year, because I feel like that is going to be more motivating and really help keep me on track. So the reason I want to do a low buy year next year is number one, to save money. I feel like that's the main reason a lot of people decide to do low buy, no buy years, along with obviously trying to be more intentional and living a more minimalist lifestyle. I, for the most part, already live a pretty minimalist, intentional life. At least I really try to. But I'll be honest, this past year I wasn't so great on sticking with my budget. Not that I was not hitting like my savings goals, but I feel like I could have done a little bit better. And so now I'm going into this year a little bit more intentional than I was this year, and hopefully I'm able to follow through and stick to my goals. But yeah, number one is just for money saving purposes. In the future, my husband and I would really love to buy a home because we're renting right now. And really, I just want to get to a place to where I'm more comfortable with our finances. Like, we already have like an emergency fund and we have savings and all that stuff. But I just want to get to a point where if one of us lost our jobs, like we would be okay for a longer time, and just have that safety net. And it's not something that I'm like super worried about or stressing about. It's just like, if I'm able to save for this and do this, then I'm going to try to do it, I guess. I think I also just like the idea of if in the future I wanted to quit my job, I would have that flexibility to do so. And that itself is very, very motivating for me. So my goal for next year is just to save up as much as I can, and also just take advantage of the fact that we don't have kids right now. We don't have pets, although I would love to have a pet. It's just not very realistic for us at this point in our life. Those two things are just huge expenses that we don't have right now. I'm not saying that we don't want them or we wouldn't want them in the future. It's just, this is our situation now, and I think we can just look at the bright side of it and really take advantage of the fact that we are both working and we can both continue to save. Now, the second reason that I want to do a low buy year is just to help me focus on finding joy in things that aren't things. I think a lot of us, especially today and probably throughout all time, we can really easily get stuck in the comparison trap. And I think a lot of the times this comparison and desire to have more and more things or better things can really take away that joy. Like that quote says, you know, comparison is the thief of joy. Kind of cliche, but it's absolutely true. And so next year, I just really want to focus on finding joy in things that aren't material possessions and things that aren't like clothes and things that aren't actual physical things, if that makes sense. So in order to help me stay on track and stick to my goals, I have made two lists, actually not just one. I've made two lists. The first list is a list of things that I am allowing myself to buy throughout the year, because again, I'm doing a low buy year, not a no buy year. And then the second list is a list of things that I'm absolutely trying to avoid, that I'm not allowing myself to purchase. So on the first list, which is a list of things that I'm allowed to buy, are replacements, and this is really in every category you can think of. So I'm allowing myself to buy any clothing replacements, like if something rips or is completely worn out to the point where it just doesn't look or feel good anymore. I'm allowing myself to get skincare, makeup replacements of my everyday items or things that I already use in my daily routine. Obviously, I'm allowing myself to purchase, groceries. Obviously, I'm paying my bills. Like, all the essentials are obviously going to be covered. So I'm not really going to talk about that too much. But I guess in non-necessities, it would be replacements like for clothing, skincare, makeup, and then like hygiene products. So hair care that I again already use in my daily routine and that sort of stuff. So I'm still going to allow myself to purchase gifts for other people, but I'm limiting that to birthdays and Christmas. Besides that, I'm not planning on getting anyone like a just because gift. Not that I normally would, but there were a few instances this year, I guess, where I did. Like, I see something cute and I think of someone else and then I buy it for them. And for the most part, I think it's just to like fill that need in myself and get like that shopping high, but then it's like justified because it's not for myself, it's for someone else. So that's what I'm trying to avoid this coming year. I'm also allowing myself to eat out 1 to 2 times per month. I feel like that's pretty typical for us. There's only been a few months where we kind of ate out more than 2 times per month, and I think on those months I did end up feeling kind of guilty because it was either because I was too lazy to cook anything. Mainly because I was too lazy. So I want to limit that next year to just 1 to 2 times per month. I think that's pretty doable. It's just going to take like that teeny bit of extra effort, but I think we can do it. I'm also going to be allowing myself to get 1 haircut through the whole year. I did consider putting that I could get 2 haircuts in the year, but realistically, I already only get my haircut once per year, 2 if I'm really like on top of it. But I figured if I'm already only doing it once per year for the most part, then I'm just going to stick to that. I don't really see the need of spending money on another haircut when I already don't do that. Plus, haircuts are expensive, even just a simple cut. So I think once in the next year, which will probably be early in the year, I usually get something really simple. I never do anything fancy. So I'll probably be getting a haircut soon, early next year, and then not getting another one until the following year. And on this list, I also put that I could buy myself 1 summer dress, just because I feel like this year I felt like that area was kind of lacking for me. I did purchase 2 dresses this year. However, just because it gets so hot and humid here in the summer, I think just an extra dress would be really helpful. I want to focus on finding one that is very versatile, so something I could wear to work, to church, and maybe just on a casual date night. So I'm allowing myself 1 summer dress this year next year when the summertime comes. So on this list, I also put that I could purchase groceries. Obviously, we all need to eat, but I don't mean just like the bare minimum groceries. Like, I'm allowing myself to, cook special meals at home, try new recipes, things like that. I think that will also help cut back on the eating out part. And both my husband and I, we love food and we love trying new recipes. We love cooking. I like baking. That's kind of a hobby I want to lean into more next year. So I am allowing myself to, buy as many groceries as I need, while still trying to be intentional and not overspending and buying things that are just going to go to waste, if that makes sense. Now, on the list of things that I am not allowing myself to buy is things like just because clothing items, just because something is cute, something is on sale. I don't know, just because I like something doesn't mean I have to buy it, and I'm not going to allow myself to buy it if that's the only reason I want to buy it. So like I said, I'm only going to be allowing myself to purchase any clothing replacements, and then maybe that dress like I mentioned. So I'm not buying just because clothing items. I think this is going to be the hardest part for me because clothing shopping is kind of my weakness. Even though I am pretty intentional with my shopping habits, if I am having an emotional day. I don't know, this is just kind of like my weak area, so I think it's going to take a little bit of more intention and strength to not cave to buying new clothes. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to try my best to not purchase unneeded clothing items. Also, I'm not going to be allowing myself to purchase new makeup items, new skincare items, hair care items, things like that. And I don't mean things like replacements like I mentioned before. I mean like new to me products, like new things just to try out just because, or because I saw someone recommend it like on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I'm really going to try not to be influenced by those things and just stick to the products I already have and that I know work for me. I really don't think I need anything else, and anything outside of what I already know works for me is more of a want more than a need. So I think I'll be okay in this area because this isn't as hard for me as the clothes part, so we'll see how that goes. I'm also not going to allow myself to purchase any books. I recently got a little bit more into reading, which is great, but I've really just been borrowing books from the library, and that has worked out perfectly fine. So I don't plan on purchasing any books, even though I do plan on reading more. So yeah, no books for next year. Another one that might be a little bit hard for me is home decor. I am not going to allow myself to buy any home decor, and the reason why this might be difficult is because this year that we're currently in, I kind of went through this phase where I was really obsessed with home decor and home interiors, and even today, like, I still really love making my place feel homey and cozy and just feel like me. At the same time, I think it's more of that like shopping addict in me that just wants to accumulate more things, and each and every time that I caved and purchased something for my apartment that was just for decor purposes, don't get me wrong, I like it and I don't really regret it. However, I did notice, it's not filling the hole inside. I just feel like at this point in my life, it probably wouldn't be very wise for me to just spend money on home decor, especially because I've noticed that I have pretty expensive taste. Like when I'm shopping online or just looking at home decor or even like antiquing or thrift stores, I'm always drawn to the things that are a lot more expensive. And also, why are pillows like $200-$300? Like, that is a lot of money. But every time I'm looking for a pillow for my apartment, like a throw or just like a cute pillow, I'm always drawn to the ones that are hundreds of dollars. And I just, like, if I can't have the one I want, I don't want to opt for like a cheaper version. So I would just rather not have it at all, if that makes sense. And obviously, like, we don't plan on staying in this apartment forever, so I think I'm good with what I have now, and I have been able to create a cozy space with the items I already have. I don't really want to continue leaning into that like home decor obsession and buying more and more and more. I also will not be getting any food delivery services like Uber Eats, DoorDash. Like I said, I'm allowing myself to eat out twice per month, but if it happens to be takeout, then I am going to go pick it up myself and bring it back home, which I think will be pretty doable because we already hardly ever get food delivered to our place. We usually go pick it up or we dine in. And the next thing, which is something else that I hardly ever do, is nails. Recently, I kind of have been getting this itch to get my nails done, but I have to remind myself that the reason I don't get my nails done is because I do a lot with my hands. Like I clean, mainly clean, and like, I don't know, I'm always getting my hands dirty or scrubbing something or whatever. And my nails chip very quickly. So, even if I get the fake nails done or whatever, they always grow out. It's a lot of maintenance. And then I just find myself, having to go back and get them redone. It's just not worth it, and it's also very expensive. So I would rather just take care of my natural nails, just keep them short and practical. I did it all of this year. I didn't get my nails done, so I think I can manage another whole year of not getting my nails done. And the last thing on my list is getting coffee out just because. This is something that I actually never really did unless it was like meeting up with a friend and getting a coffee, which I will still allow myself to do next year. But this year I kind of got into the habit of like taking a break at work and then going to go get coffee with coworkers, which is fine. It's not a huge deal, but at the end of the day, I was getting like a sugary coffee drink that's not very healthy for me, kind of expensive, and it really adds up when I'm doing that multiple times during the week. I wasn't really finding that it was adding value to my life, so that's something I want to cut back and not purchase next year. So I'm still willing to like meet up with a friend, grab a cup of coffee, that's totally fine, but I'm not just going to like go just because, or like just to get out of the office, if that makes sense. Like I'm more than happy to go on the walk to go get the coffee, but not actually purchase coffee, if that makes sense. Okay, so while those two lists are pretty helpful, some other things that I will be focusing on in order to stay on track and complete this no buy year is to find hobbies that don't involve spending money or shopping. The main things that I will be focusing on is reading, cooking and baking, along with just making more videos for YouTube, which I have really been enjoying. Honestly, those three are probably more than enough. I'm already really busy with my full-time job and like everything else I gotta do in my life. So I think those three hobbies are gonna be really helpful and also fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. I also plan on limiting my screen time. I know a few months ago I made a video on how I quit social media. Since then, I've kind of gone back on social media, and by back I mean like I'm not really posting anything, but I'm more like, you know, spending some more screen time on there, and slowly it has become more time than I would like or I'm comfortable with, and I think I really need to cut back and limit a lot of it. I don't think I'm going to be like leaving it completely or not spending like zero time on it, but I really just want to cut back and limit my screen time, especially when it comes to like fashion, beauty influencer type content, just because that's the type of content that makes me want to shop. So yeah, I think I guess I'll also be unfollowing a lot of these accounts just to avoid being exposed to that and having that temptation to spend creep in. And the last thing that I want to do during this low buy year is to really focus on relationships. So relationships that I currently have, you know, continue to maintain them and spend more time, you know, being intentional in reaching out to people and checking in on friends and family, as well as being more intentional in building new relationships and friendships and being more present in the moment, which I think is something that is really, really difficult for me because I'm pretty introverted and my social battery gets drained really easily. If I continue to limit my screen time, if I'm more intentional with my time, then this is something that I can make happen. I apologize if I sound very nasally. My nose is actually really stuffed up right now. I'm not sick or anything. I just can't breathe. But yeah, that's it for today's video. That's my plan for doing a low buy year. I will probably keep you guys updated every few months or so just to do like a check-in to see how everything's going, and let me know if you've ever done a low buy or no buy year, or even month or week, whatever. I know different people do different, you know, lengths of time. You can really just customize this to whatever works for you depending on your goals and your life situation. But I would love to hear if you have ever tried it out. What are some tips and tricks that you like to do in order to help you stay on track? Let me know down in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.